It is Core here. It's been some time since I've done a live stream. You are looking at the embers of the fire in front of me. May spontaneously start flaming as we proceed with this video. I had something I wanted to say. I wanted to share it. And the easiest way to do it is to go live in the current locale that I am at. I'm not going to wait for anyone to come in. I'm going to simply start speaking, as I already have. I would appreciate it, anyone that does join, if you could let me know that you can actually hear me. Last time I did this, no one could hear me for some reason. Don't know why, but they couldn't. So if someone could let me know that you can hear me, that'd be great. So I don't record this whole live stream and then find out that there's no audio. I'm just gonna start anyways though. So anyone just wants to let me know, can you hear me? Am I coming through? Am I loud and clear? A lot of spiritual, I don't even want to call them teachers, spiritualists. All right, Sin. Yep, I'm good. All right, I'm gonna start talking. A lot of beings that are spiritual like to use the terms for the mind, conscious and subconscious, and nothing wrong with these terms. They're just very confusing to the uh, uninitiated mind, the one that isn't aware of what these terms actually mean and can't interpret them for themselves. So I want to make a video explaining what the conscious and subconscious is in slightly a different way, which I'm going to do it by using the words awake, rest. And this may blow some of your minds. So it's for most of us, when you say wake, it's you're awake, you're aware, you're conscious. That's your conscious mind. It's what people would determine reality is, but reality isn't all of it. Reality is only a fraction of it. Your consciousness is only a fraction of it. It has to be. That's how existence is designed. For you to have an experience, your conscious can only be a fraction of what actually exists. Otherwise, there's no experience to be had. You would already have it all. How can you have experience when you have everything? At that point, you seem to have nothing because you have it all, and you can't determine if you actually have anything, because it's all already there. So we have this consciousness, or this focus, this idea of what we're going to do and how we're going to do and experience it, which allows us to actually be aware and awake. It's very similar to a wave in an ocean. The ocean is the whole thing, and the wake or the wave, the same word, is the consciousness. It's going somewhere. It's got direction. It's doing something. Most individuals get lost in the waking world, in the waves. They get lost in the waves and the consciousness and the direction and being told what to do, how to do it. and where exactly to go. There's a whole nother existence that occurs though with every living organism. You have your reality or your consciousness or your waking world when you're alive and well, and then you have your dream world or your subconsciousness or your rest. When you rest, everything else is there. Your consciousness only takes up a part of the pie. It's the sliver that you cut up and eat. The rest of it is what you lay on. When you lay down and rest, you are experiencing everything that you didn't experience during your conscious uh, awakening during that day cycle. This is exactly how the mind works with the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious being what you are focused on, the subconscious being the rest of it. It's everything else. It's not complicated. People tend to complicate these ideas of how uh, the mind and existence and creation and destruction and overall being works and exudes itself. It's not complicated, it's simple. You have your wake, you're awake, you are doing something, and what you are not focusing on is the rest. And when you rest, you will encompass all of what you are not focusing on. This is why you can do things when you rest that you cannot do when you are awake. When you rest, your ability to govern and control what most would deem the laws of physics and natural laws that hold things in place in reality, they don't exist. That's due to you not having any consciousness of them during while you are actually awake. Now, maybe this is just hypothetical at this point. Maybe if you were aware of these things while you are awake and you can actually do these things while you're awake, while you are resting, you would be doing the things other than that. So maybe you can jump off a rooftop and fly while you're awake. Well, now when you're resting in your dreams, you can't do that because it's the rest of it. It's everything else. It's when you're awake, things are very directional, and this creates this. This does this. It's very obvious how things work. And when you're resting, things are more. It's more of a spiral. It's more uh, free flowing and less stringent. The rules of what you think exists while you're awake do not exist while you're resting. They can't because it's the rest. It's everything else. It's the environment. How does all of this nature take place? It does. It is what it is. We don't need to put our consciousness towards that because it is doing its own thing. But we experience that. If we're in the middle of a city, we might have nightmares. Our dreams will not be as humbling and securing as if we're in the middle of a forest resting. Because these frequencies play on how we are going to experience things when we rest. And here, yeah, I'm gonna take a sip of this. I'm just sitting here listening to the crickets, cicadas. I'm focusing in on that. That's my consciousness. There's a lot of other stuff going on, though, that I will experience when I lay down and rest. Now, a lot of beings, they don't experience an actual sustainable, coherent dream when they lay down for certain reasons. You can't remember your dreams if you feel like you don't dream. You do. You're just not recalling it, and or you're purposely, subconsciously not holding on to it. It's definitely still happening. We never stop. We don't stop. We're always going. We're always experiencing. We're always bringing things into our body. So when it really comes full circle, there is no difference between being awake and being at rest. It's the same thing. There is no difference between the consciousness and subconsciousness. It's the same thing. It's just that we don't necessarily pay attention to everything so we can do something, but everything is still occurring. So what we're doing occurs in everything. It must be the same thing. That at that moment that we're doing something, though, that's everything to us. Nothing else exists. So when we are awake and we are working, we are creating. We are doing what gives us joy and fulfillment. That is all that exists. Nothing else exists. We are focused. We are diligent. We are doing what needs to be done. That's everything. What is the rest at that point? This is where it can get a little confusing, but it's not confusing because it ends up being the same thing. You rest while you do what you enjoy, which is why it's so important to have conscious focus on what you're doing and intention. If you don't have the intention and utmost respect towards the craft or skills that you are embarking on, you are going to end up in a position to where you are resting while you are awake. You're going to end up wanting to be out of the situation you're in, which is taking your consciousness outside of itself while you are awake. Now you're no longer aware. You're aware that you don't like the situation, but how many actual beings see that and act on that? Not many. Most of them will keep going through that situation because of other uh, entities that are creating these constructs that hamper what we believe we can do. Religion, government, industries. We may not want to do what we're doing, but we believe we have to do it. Once you have that belief, you have lost what you are, your consciousness, your spirituality, your intention, motivation to be yourself and to exude yourself, and your ability to actually rest on what you are doing. I'm gonna look at the chat here. I see Synchron he's just blowing it up. He's probably has some good things to add. Shin Corona. One series says spiritual is too abstract for the. Yeah, spirit. It is the consciousness or the waking life is very direct, as I said. It's uh, it's mathematical. It's very easy to see what's going on. You can track it. You can create charts and data off of it very easily. The spiritual dreaming is symbolism. It's very enriched in you being able to determine for yourself what it is because you are the center of it. So it's how what you're experiencing actually relates to you. And this is how it really always is. Actually, always is. It's just that in this construct where we have these other entities operating, we can get lost in their beliefs and we can lose sight of the symbolism that is actually being uh, enacted by us and other entities, and we can lose focus on where we're actually going. We'll end up in a circle instead of a spiral. Yeah, there's spiritual. The term definitely, and many terms have been lost to Latin. People don't know what they're saying. People do not know what they're saying. It's what it comes down to. It's simple. He's got do a little bit of research. Know the words you're using. Why are you using them? There's so many words that we've been taught through our existence that we've never went back to actually see it. What is this? Where does this come from? What does this mean? I say this word 50 times a day. What is it doing to me? For other things, we would do that if we uh, became aware that the pharmaceutical industry is poisoning everyone. We would go back and see, well, what is this? What is this pill I'm taking? What is this? What is it doing to me? It's no different. It's the same exact thing. People don't see words as powerful, though, which is why the saying that sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me exists, because it perpetuates that idea that words have no power, which is lunacy. It makes no logical sense that words don't have power when you can have a piece of paper that determines the fate of a whole entire nation. That's how powerful words are, especially when you write them down. Yeah, I've actually thought of that before, Sin, about people only pay attention to 10%. It's exactly right. Why would you want to focus on more than, I mean, that's a lot to me even. If you can focus on 10% of what's around you, I'm thinking like 0.1%. If you're focusing on more than that, you might get anxious. There's a lot of things that might start taking hold and creating restraints on your ability to do something with what you're looking at. There's there's just so much that goes on, especially when one sits back and just uses all these senses to take in what is around them. It is very profound what's there that was never realized that was there, or just what was not taken in at the same moment as something else. And then there's still more, especially when you're in a natural environment where you have uh, all these other organisms around you that are attributing to changing the environment constantly. Crickets are nice. What's not nice is this uh, switching station, the semis, warehouses that are next to me. That's not nice. Or the oil refinery, or DuPont, which makes fertilizers and shit. That's not nice. I don't like that shit. But there are no cars coming down this road right now, so I can hear the crickets. I can hear the birds, cicadas. The air conditioning off at the house next to me, so it's nice and quiet. Nothing disturbing me right now. Yeah, you're in Australia. How's it going in Australia? I've actually been curious to ask you how it is there with everything. It's been a while since I've asked you that, and they very much like to show in America that Australia is much more regulated and stringent. Is monkey is a monkey thing there? Are there monkeys on the loose in Australia, like in America? 'Cause I'm in the Illinois here, and it's been determined a state of emergency by the governor. One of two states so far that have determined that. it you know, that's true to a degree until something else forces them to go even harder. I like, that was a warning shot. That wasn't even the actual event. That was just a small one for what's to come. We're only in 2022. We got 8 more years to go still before probably got 2 to 3 more years to go before it really gets to a fever pitch. And then that will carry on for a couple, and then it'll probably calm back out, and everything will be completely different in one way or another. There's been, I think, like 500 cases here. Oh, it's mostly in the LGBTQTA plus. I think I got that right. Communities. It's that's who it affects the most. It's, stuff they come up with is wild. It's wild. There's that, but they also got polio's in the back pocket too. And polio's around right now, so that might be what actually comes about. Something else is gonna come this winter. It's probably gonna be 2019, 2020 winter all over again, where mass hysteria ensues and people don't know what the hell to do. 'Cause there's no vaccine for a monkey biting you. There's nothing you can do about that right now. Nothing. And apparently, the the injections for the original illness, the plague, the world, aren't working as well anymore. Even herd immunity is not good enough. There's so much stuff going on right now in the news. It's wild. It is wild. Well, I think that this is an opportunity. There's going to be lulls in between the waves. And each lull is an opportunity for people who are aware and see what is going on to get into a position or a place, more so a environment that suits their personality more than being in the middle of a city. I think we're going to see max exodus out of cities. We're going to see a lot of, I shouldn't say mass, we're going to see a lot of a percentage that has never been before leaving cities to go to rural and remote areas to sustain themselves and to exist more peacefully with nature and in harmony. Because there's a lot of beings that are aware or awake or spiritual in cities right now, and it doesn't work that way. When you are connected to the flow of everything, we don't want to be in these cities. It hurts, it's painful. We want to be out in nature, in the calm, away from disruption, away from where things can change at the flip because we're in the middle of someone else's construct, some other entity's jurisdiction. Even though we don't have to participate in it, they can control everything around due to the ignorance of the beings that go along with the system that has been propped up. Which things are changing. I mean, which way are they gonna go? We're gonna see. I mean, there's absolutely opportunity for change right now. There's absolutely no question about that. I mean, you ask me, I'm optimistic about everything. People that I'm around don't quite grasp how I'm optimistic of anything and everything. It's hard for me to see something from a negative sense. Like there's always another way to view something. There's always an angle you can see something that is fruitful and productive. And it's hard to determine right now with what's going on because we came from such a distorted view of what life and existence is on an individual scale, let alone on a mass scale. And these industries, these corporations, they have such a stranglehold, it seems, on everything that how do we get out of it? How do we get out of it? The answer is simple, and it's not hard to do, and it doesn't take a lot to do it. But it's just becoming self-sustainable. Stop relying on them. Stop giving them your energy. They'll go away. And that might be exactly what happens, but we got to see, because will enough people realize the corruption in the corporations and businesses that they are partaking in before it's too late? and I don't know what too late would be. I mean, I suppose when they have complete automation and governance that uh, you jaywalk, there's a drone that comes out because the whole entire city is mapped and being watched with infrared cameras, so they know what you're doing at all times. I can't see it getting to something like that to where you can't operate in the city without uh, playing by the rules. If people let it get to that point, especially on a global, because it's going to be global, it's not going to happen just in one place. It will happen globally in the industrialized nations. I don't see that happening, but maybe, maybe. There doesn't have to be. I wouldn't say there has to be more good people than bad people. There has to be more. Not even more. There has to be. It took, from what we're told, 1% of a demented population to overthrow the entire world, due to them having a cohesive plan and goal and working at it over time, decades, centuries, couple centuries. It didn't take them that long, which is why it will fall pretty quickly as well. And now they're trying to come out here and throw it in everyone's face. They're attempting to come out here and tell everyone their plans point blank on uh, seminars and conferences that are broadcast over the internet. They tell you what they're doing. These crooked entities that believe that they have some sort of endowment to rule over everyone, which is why it won't work. I 100% know it won't. No, it will not work. There's no possible way. I will be in awe. It will be amazing if they get to the point to what they're talking about right now in the next 8 years. There's no way. And if they do, I'm going to be sitting back waiting for everything to change, because at some point there would be a change and everything's going to get more balanced. But if they're able to pull off what they're looking to pull off, that'd be amazing. It would be. I can't sit here and say that uh, it would not be something that is astonishing to be able to do. Is it dastardly? Is it evil? Is it hurtful to the overall society or community and nature as a whole? Existence, non-existence? Of course it is, but if they somehow were able to do that, I mean, we're definitely still in the dark ages at that point, because we're supposed to be moving up in the scales. We're supposed to be going into the Bronze Age out of the Iron Age. So this should not be able to occur at this point. That would have already occurred during the plagues and all of the monarchy rule and all of those times, medieval times. That those were the dark ages. Now we're supposed to be in the Bronze Ages, where things are starting to change and move up, where people have independence and starting to be more self-sufficient, and it's supposed to branch out from there. But we'll see. We're we're all here together. We can only take care of ourselves and our family, or our kin, and our community if we get to that point. But most importantly is ourselves and our kin. Oh, of course, 2024. Of course. It's the next U.S. presidential election. Trump's coming back. They're already building the narrative up. It's already going. It's already going. He said Russia and the other country having conflict. You got the Britain, the Brittany, Griner. Got was it 9 years for a little marijuana, smuggling it across international borders. Come on. This is jurisdiction. It has nothing to do with landmass. And someone of her statute would have lawyers that would be able to easily deflect that. This is such a game. Such a game. Now we're gonna trade an arms dealer from Russia for her and some other guy that they're just throwing in there because they're trading an arms dealer, international arms dealer, for a basketball player. This is sports on a global scale. This is a trade that's happening in front of everyone's eyes. No different than it happens in the NBA or the MLB or the NFL. It is quite laughable what is going on right now. You got everything in the news. Everything. You got Pelosi going to Taiwan, and what happens? She was warned. They were warned. The U.S. was warned. You go there, and we're gonna fire missiles. We're gonna have a live demonstration. China said we're gonna have a live demonstration. We're not gonna hold back. And what did they do? They showed out. They came. They came to play. And what did she do? She left. She said, "Fuck this. I'm leaving." This is This is showing you what's about to happen. That was the warning shot. China's going to Taiwan. China is going to take over Taiwan. China and Russia are working together. They're building a whole new reserve currency together. It's playing out. It's playing out. We just gotta see what the people do. What are the people gonna do about it? He was a comedian. He was a comedian and an actor, and he actually, I don't know if you knew, he played a president on the TV show that he was on. He played a president. It's like the new Ronald Reagan, but he actually played a president. He wasn't just an actor. Oh man, it's wild. It is wild. The small club that exists and the people that uh, they use to perpetuate the narrative. It's obvious. I feel a certain way for how people see this as something actual occurring, but come on. The narrative is getting so overblown and eccentric. It is quite hilarious. It's the same thing over and over. Over and over. It's the same thing over and over. You see Alex Jones, mine, something that's actually, Alex Jones is getting charged 50,000, 50,000? I think it's $50,000. I think it's $50 million. $50 million? Maybe $50 million. 50 something due to saying Sandy Hook's. No, it was 40. Was it 150? No, I don't think there was a 1 in front of it. Because that wasn't the actual number. It was 4964 or something like that. Yeah, like, come on. For saying that it's a hoax. Your lawyers suck. It's... if this is true, and this is what's happening, your attorneys are terrible. Are terrible. How could that happen? When you cannot justifiably prove, you can't prove it either way. It's hearsay at that point. Get that out of the courtroom. Oh man, court is where they go when they really want to lock something down. They really want to push the issue. You can't go against us because we will throw you in jail. We will get your money. You can't do anything about it. Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what it is. No, you're exactly correct. It's programming, and the main ones out there anyways, I would say, seem to have an agenda. Yet the ones that are smaller and are seeing things, they're gonna think twice. I can't afford that. How would I get out of this situation? That's why it's so important for us as free living beings under our own jurisdiction to understand, overstand, and study law and what is going on right now. That's the most important thing. Law, consumer law, and self-sovereignty are the most important things right now. I mean, the thing, is this retroactive? Can they go back and get people? Well, I guess you got the statute of limitations. But if it's fraudulent, if you're saying something fraudulent, I got a lot of videos out talking about stuff. I am 100% shadow banned. There is no doubt that I am shadow banned. Which I'm pretty sure means that can come in a few different ways from what I've gathered, but I am absolutely on different YouTube algorithms that make sure that my content doesn't get out very much. You should not have almost 2,000 subscribers, and I'm fortunate to get 30 to 40 views on my videos that I post. Fortunate. And that's when I'm just talking about something that isn't prominent to current world issues. That's if I'm talking about something that other people are talking about getting 20,000 views. I'm getting like 40. That's it's that at that point, that's a long game. Can't trust a celebrity. You never know. You never know. But like I said, that's why it's important to know what you're saying, be intelligent, to know the laws that are occurring around you, to know the type of law system that you are currently operating in, because there are different law systems depending on the jurisdiction that you are potentially existing in. Things will come in different ways, different manners, different procedures that may take place. And finances is, I would say, the other important thing that plays into it. Those are the most important things. Being an intelligent consumer in your community, and uh, upholding the obligations of the state, of the government, or the body that is claiming control of the area. You gotta uphold them to what they claim, because they ain't out here telling you what they're supposed to do. They're out here saying what they want to do. What they are supposed to do is in their history. It's in the law books. It's in the constitutions or the charters. It's in the Bible, maybe. It's in these different literatures of what they're supposed to abide to. Abide in. Alright, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna go inside. My fire never ignited, and I need to make myself another drink. Enjoyed this conversation. Enjoyed Sin being here. Thank you for stopping by. Equip the Angels. I don't know what your. I know you had a different name before. I don't know what it was off the top of my head. And anyone else to stop by, enjoy yourself. For the whole, I had a maximum of 5 viewers. I got 5 thumbs up. That's great. I am excited about that. I hope everyone that needed to hear this heard it, and anyone that is going to hear in the future is going to, that they find their way here. Synchron, no, I know you are Synchron City. I know that. uh Equip the Angels had said something, which he I know his channel was something else prior. I appreciate that, son. I don't even know if that's meant uh to be a compliment necessarily, as so a statement of how you feel. But I appreciate that you say that, because I'm definitely genuine. I ain't out here trying to conscure anyone in any certain way, shape, or form. I'm genuine. You can definitely see that by my body of work, my videos. I've grown and morphed and changed and adapted to the different environments that I find myself in on a global scale and a local scale. Which is why I mean, what I'm telling people to do now is, you go back 5 years, you can even go back a year. I ain't saying the same thing, because I would not have said a year ago that the most important thing to do is to learn law, because I didn't know that. I wouldn't say a year ago, probably 2 years ago. I didn't know that then. How could I say that? But now that I'm starting to learn, gain knowledge in different areas I never looked at, I'm seeing that it's extremely prevalent and important for us to gain knowledge in law and in how things operate in our environment, so that we can actually take control of the environment that we are in through only a few people. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't take a lot of us. It only takes a few of us to know what's going on. We can put a stop to the whole entire system, because they're fraudulent. And if we hold them accountable to the things that they're supposed to do, and they're going that they say they're going to do, we can force them to perform. And if they don't perform, they're going to collapse. And many of them will probably collapse. But in the coming years, coming solar cycles, we will see. We will see what comes to fruition, what ends up imbuing itself onto this plane we call Earth, this natural existence made up of light and water, and we'll see what forms out of it. You ask me, it's gonna look completely different, and it ain't gonna be in a way that's going to be damning to the masses. It's going to be a way that's going to be freeing to the masses. Too many people are getting educated on this stuff. There's too many people even putting it out at this point. Now there's a lot of people out here just trying to gain a buck off of it, but there's always going to be those people. And it's not to say they still might have good information, but you just got to watch who you're dealing with, get the information, move on. Make sure you're doing your own self-studies, improving yourself, meditating, improving your flow with everything that is going on around you, staying calm, staying patient, not being anxious, and existing. The pandemic, it's not over. It's technically not over. It's still going. They haven't ended it yet. It ain't over until we say it's over. Because we never want to waste a good crisis. And this crisis is exactly what we all need to make a change in our life and the lives around us, by standing tall and showing other individuals of what they're capable of. But most people, we're here in this small town, and we're just in a backyard in a neighborhood. Like this is not a big plot of land or anything we're on, but we've uh, probably, I would say, 30% of the backyard, and about maybe 10% of the front, we've turned into gardens, and we're growing things in grow bags, and producing things from nature. Like most people, they don't even know how to plant a seed. They don't even know how to grow one thing, let alone start to grow enough that you could sustain off of it. And those are the type of things that are going to change society. I mean, that's, I would also say, is one of the other things next to gaining knowledge and how things are operating around you, is being able to self-sustain. If you feel you need to eat, you need to know how to grow things. You need to know, this is what I'm going to grow. This is how I'm going to grow it. I know within 60, maybe 70, 80, 90 days, I'm going to be able to have a fruit from a plant, say okra or eggplant, or a squash that is going to be viable, a cucumber. I'm going to have a fruit that's viable, and now I can take that plant's going to keep producing, but I can take that fruit and I can take those seeds out and I can start planting more. Now I'm multiplying it by 20, 30, 40, 50, depending on what it is. Nature grows in abundance, and most people don't realize that, and we need to get back to a point to where we show people the growth that is possible and the abundance that takes place, because there ain't no reason for us to be going to grocery stores trying to get shit. Maybe markets to get things that are somewhat processed or packaged in a certain way that takes more time than just growing a plant and allowing it to fruit, or cutting some leaves off. We should all be doing that ourselves. And we need to be, because it's going to be very important come here soon. It's going to be very important for us to be able to sustain our own through our own uh, gardens and our farms, community farms. All right, I'm going. Everyone enjoy your night. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna rest.